Sighting in a Parker Tornado crossbow with Capture-nock arrows. William Hovey Smith, 2015. I'm the author of Crossbow Hunting, and here we revisit a very familiar crossbow. This is Hovey Smith with Hovey's Outdoor Adventures, and we're about to sight in our Parker Tornado crossbow. This is a food plot that I just got through planting, and in about 3 weeks or so, I'll actually hunt this for the first time. And we're going to try out our new Red Hot crossbow bolts with Capture-nocks. Now, I'm going to be shooting from a deer stand there. So I'm going to have a down shot angle at my target here. And later, we're actually going to be shooting muzzle loaders on the range I'm making right down there that goes out to 300 yards. But with a crossbow, I'm quite content to shoot to 50 yards. The reasons that I wanted to re-sight in my crossbow is that the crossbow has new limbs, the front end had been removed and replaced, and these were new arrows with new nocks. Now, the crossbow was covered in a previous video, and I've taken extracts from it so you can see how we got to where we are now. Rebuilding a Parker Tornado crossbow and Grim Reaper arrow points. I'm the author of Crossbow Hunting, and the Parker has been one of my favorite crossbows, and here is a photo of a black bear that I took on an Idaho hunt. Last year, I screwed up. I attempted to unload the crossbow and my arrow was not seated all the way back on the deck, and I blew up the limbs. As it turned out, I was not the only one that had this problem, and Parker now recommends the exclusive use of Capture-nocks with this particular crossbow. So we're now about to put the whole thing back together again and sight it in, and also get my arrows and points ready for the new season. Now, this crossbow has already killed 2 deer and 1 black bear. These are 5 of the original 6 arrows that I had. And the other one is, I'm afraid, damaged beyond use, and you'll see how and why in a little bit. My game is mostly fairly small deer and wild hogs. I don't really shoot many huge, heavy beasties. Consequently, I want to inflict a massive wound, typically in very heavy color. If I can get the animal to bleed out faster, I want it to do that. Usually long shots are not particularly desired, and I often don't take them because I just don't have them. I can't see that far. In my cover, if I can see 40 yards, I'm doing pretty good. Consequently, I particularly like these Grim Reaper heads because of the very long cutting arms. Yeah, you pass one of these through a critter and it's going to know about it. Now, this is not ideal for all situations. It does, as I say, fit my lightweight animals very, very well. However, they may not be used in all cases. This bear, for example, was shot in Idaho. I could not use mechanical heads in Idaho, so I had to quickly go by a local shop and buy these, which, as you see, worked very well. They come in various sizes. This is the one with the extra long cutting limbs on them. And for the reasons I just described, I want to use it. Here is where my first shot went at 20 yards from the deer stand. As you see, that's pretty darn good. And here's how far the arrow stuck out of my homemade backstop, and I'll show you how to build these one day. Now, the second arrow at 40 yards also hit well within the black, and yeah, that's in the killing zone too. Both of these will work. We have now shot our practice arrows here with our practice points. So we're going to change out the half moon nocks for the full capture nocks for our hunting arrows. Very simply done. Just unscrew the shafts. Keeping everything together. And attach the new ones and cinch them up. There we go. And that's how that be done. So we're getting ready to go out on our first hunt. Now we have the hunter's moon, or the blood moon, coming up this weekend. So I will certainly be out, probably on my in-town property, and hunting there. Now crossbows are particularly useful for the control of urban deer. And I have a small plot that's within the city limits of my hometown, and I usually take from 1 to 3 deer out of there each year. It's a wooded area, a wetlands. It was always too wet to farm, but it has some mature trees in it, and a few years ago a portion of it was clear cut. So between the two changes in habitat, plus a local water hole that I had dug, that attracts some deer. So that's where this crossbow is going to have its first exposure this year. Now, about my book, Crossbow Hunting. Mentioned it before. Now, this book is starting to get a little age on it. It still remains the most exhaustive treatment of the crossbow as a hunting instrument ever written. And if you want it, or think you want it, guys, you sort of better get it. These things have a habit of going out of print. So if you're thinking about getting it, or giving it, or whatever, get on the stick while it's still available. Right now, Stackpole is still cataloging it, but sales are not doing all that hot, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see it actually taken out of that catalog sometimes. So look out for that. There have been some significant advances in the crossbow since I wrote that book. The crossbow has undergone more development in the last 25 years than it did in the previous 1,500 years. So wow, there have been a lot of changes, and they're still going on. The instruments are getting lighter, the limbs are getting more compact, the power of them is not particularly increased. Some little bit, but not terrible much. The reason is you do have limitations on the strength of this material, and also the strings and cabling. The more powerful you make a crossbow, the more touchy it becomes. And when you try for extreme power, you have string problems, you have string stretch, and all of these kind of nasties that sort of creep in. Now this particular crossbow is pretty stable, as witnessed by my sighting in target. Even though they put in a new set of limbs, it's still shot to the point of aim. Now that's pretty good. That shows very consistent performance and very good quality control among the materials. So Parker did a good job with this crossbow. And you can still buy the modern variants of it today, although these have split limbs instead of the solid limb here. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. Besides crossbow hunting, which is exclusively about crossbows, I also have considerable about them in practical bow fishing and also backyard deer hunting. I'll have a new series of business books in the Profit series, the first of which are Ideas for New Businesses. And here is a little blurb about that and also about me. Now, if you need service on your Parker crossbows, here is the information for it. For more information on my books, blogs, and videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.